I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
Where'd you go, Kyle? Where'd you go?
I'll never wear
Oh,
this
there
shirt
you are.
again. This is the last day of this shirt.
I made that joke before. I apologize for making it again. So when we pick stuff to do for Just Played, sometimes someone's really passionate. Sometimes it's really obvious a new game is coming out. So of course we got to talk about that game. And other times we're at a meeting and I ask, who wants to talk about a game? And Kyle Bossman says,
Toy Story 2.
Sure. Very briefly, I'll tell you my affinity towards the Toy Story video game franchise.
All right.
If you could call it that. Toy Story 3 was made by Avalanche Software, who made Disney Infinity. And one of the modes that they made for Toy Story 3 was kind of the genesis of the toy box, which is Infinity
love that
now,
mode.
which I'm very fond of, so therefore I'm excited about this conversation. But that's about all I have to say about Toy Story 2
Well, Brandon,
on the PlayStation 1.
Toy Story 3 for PlayStation 3 is a better game than Toy Story 2 for the PlayStation 1.
But we're not necessarily talking about games on Just Play because they're good games.
Right, yeah, exactly. So can I tell you why I even started playing this game? It's not nostalgia. I never played this before. What happened was I was talking about No One Can Stop Mr. Domino because we were talking about game demos and that we ended up buying them. And some guy was like, "Hey, did you start talking about that game because this guy on YouTube was?" And I'm like, "No." So then I watched that guy's YouTube video about No One Can Stop Mr. Domino, and at the end it had "Hey, and if you liked what you saw, you can subscribe." And one of the thumbnails was Toy Story 2. And I was like, oh my God, that game looks good. I didn't click on his video, but that stuck with me. And then when I was on the PlayStation Store, I was like, Toy Story 2, now's my chance. So I bought it, and it is good. Toy Story 2 is a crazy game.
Inspired by a thumbnail. Is that like a disclaimer we should put on the massive?
Sure, yeah, probably.
Just to let people know.
I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit.
And so this game is accessible. You could just reach out into the world and grab Toy Story 2 for the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Play it.
Yeah.
What console did you play this on?
On the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
What is cool about Toy Story 2 is that every video game world it's an environment first, and then a video game world second. So you start in Andy's house, and you're in his bedroom, and you can go downstairs, and there's a living room, and then there's a kitchen, and then there's a garage, and you can hop on the cars, and it's not like there's platforms floating in the air. Everything is a thing, which is crazy.
I love that. Not a lot of licensed games do that. Because
Yeah.
I think, and that's, not to bring the Kinect into the conversation, but I wanted them to create environments, it's like, if I'm watching S.H.I.E.L.D., let me walk around the helicarrier or something. Let me walk around, their jet and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if I'm a fan and I've seen this movie, I know that house, I know where the staircase is, I know where the kitchen is, I know where the living room is. It'd be cool to go there.
And I think
On the PS1, no less. That's impressive.
Yeah, I think it's also on the N64. And it's clearly inspired by Mario 64, which is a great thing. What is great is there are 5 different objectives for each level, each video game world. And so you can go and do whatever you want at the start of each level, and which is crazy. So sometimes you're you're in an alleyway and it's raining, and you can go and do whatever. You're like, what do I do? Let's just go, Buzz. You're Buzz Lightyear the entire time. There's oh man. Some levels you're in the toy barn, the store.
Al's Toy Barn.
Yeah, and so there's cash registers. It feels like a store that you're in. And so it's so cool to be Buzz Lightyear inside of these actual environments.
Cash registers! Exclamation point.
Yeah. Because why would you? There's no video game reason, but then you use those cash registers as jumps with your rocket boots. Everything. Oh man, there's a airport.
So it's not just a barren Half-Life 2 environment. There are, I'm assuming little ladders or little shoelaces or things you can climb up or ways you can get around the environment.
There aren't ladders, but they're always a thing. Shoelaces is a funny example. They're not that, but
Okay.
they're lampposts and things. You know what I mean? It's always an actual thing that would be in this world that you're using. As
Are there any
platforms.
other characters in the environment? Do you get to be bumping into Rex or Woody?
Oh, sure.
Or...
So Rex will be hey Buzz, here's all the things you can do in this level. Ham always wants coins. And so if you give him 50 coins, he's going to give you
But do you click on a button and then that brings up a cinema with the characters in, or they actually phically there?
Oh, they're there,
So you can
yeah.
walk up and
They're
get a
there.
selfie with them.
And they all look nasty. They're all, PS1 polygons. They're all really gross looking. But there's still something charming about that look even.
Because even in games today, you wouldn't get that. It's they don't... Again, which is why I like Infinity, talking about more Disney stuff, but like all of the play sets in Infinity are all open world. So you can go and like do those missions if you want to, or you can just run around with the toys that they give you.
Yeah.
Do you get cool toys? There are vehicles? Can you ride on the RC car? Can you?
You race the RC car actually. And
Get
what's
out.
funny is to race the RC car, you can't do it that first time you race it. You're gonna lose. You gotta go further into the game. You gotta earn your rocket boots, and then come back to the RC car, and then you can win the race against it. Things like that. You know, I love those in video games. There's
Who made
like
this game? Who developed this?
This is Traveler's Tales.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, they've made it some legit platformers. It is so hard. It is a hard game.
Did you beat it?
Brandon, let me tell you the story. I got to the final boss. The final boss is just 3 bosses together. And I was joking around with this game. You know, I'm playing Toy Story 2. I run out of lives. And it takes me back to the start menu and says start game. And I'm like, what? And it's just like, would you like to load your save file? It's like, I didn't save. What do you want me to load? And so I lost everything.
You didn't save ever? You beat the whole game in one sitting?
No, but I lost like one night. I lost one stressful night of Toy Story 2, and like that was too much. I don't care to see how the final bosses explode together. Man, that was frustrating.
You didn't look up the ending on YouTube?
What a harsh
or anything?
penalty. I mean, the ending is the ending of Toy Story 2.
Okay.
They actually like use the cutscenes from it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So I guess what to pull from the game, like from today's perspective, is its environments. The way it uses its environments to, it's not using its environments. Oh my gosh.
This is a lesson that the current video game developing industry can learn from Toy Story 2.
Yeah, go check it out. Look at how these worlds are built. Look at how good it feels to be a toy inside of this world instead of the toy inside of a video game level. And that's what I really, really like about it. There's fireplaces and apartment buildings. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Everything makes sense.
You're writing the headline for me. There's fireplaces, like garages, exclamation points on all of them.
Oh man, you go to an arcade. Each of the arcade cabinets is a different game.
That you can play like a little mini game.
Well, you can't play the games, no. But you
can see
because
them?
you're a toy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
A toy wouldn't be able to play those games.
You're right. It all makes sense. So you have played Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
What, Toy Story 1? Was that like Super Nintendo time? Or
Yeah,
what-
yeah. That's like a 2D platformer. That's
Did you
like
play that?
fake. Yeah. Well, so that's what sucks is like, hey, why are these platforms here? This doesn't feel like somebody's house. This feels like a video game level. That's the distinction to me.
We got past it. What year was that when Toy Story 2 came out? Do you remember?
No, I don't. Probably let's say 2001 is my guess.
Yeah, maybe a little earlier. But how much is that? So people can get that on PS3. They can get that on.
Right. If it was 2001, it'd be on PS2. So let's say 99.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 90s.
All
So you can buy it. You can get it. What is a couple bucks, or what are we talking about?
I think it was $5.
Sounds like it's worth $5.
It's cheaper than the dinner at Burger King. Basically, if a video game is cheaper than dinner at Burger King, I'll probably just buy it on a whim.
Sold.
To infinity and beyond!